Back in 1968, I was a sophomore in Mir Yeshiva High School in Ocean Parkway, and I was actually to have Reb Dovid Trenk. And one of the things I'd like to talk about today is how he always insisted or requested that when he was saying over the Gemara, the Chumash, we should keep hand on the Rashi, hand on the Gemara. And I thought primarily it was because he didn't want us to lose the place, so that he wouldn't have to start over again and start from the beginning to explain it, although he had no problem with that. But he would always, Nachum, keep your hand on the Rashi, keep your hand on the Gemara. And to appease him, because I saw it meant so much to him, I did it. He would explain that because it was Lashon Kodesh, the body would absorb it. And the closest thing I had to associate that with was osmosis. And I made a joke at osmosis. But regardless, we kept our hands on the place because that was Reb Dovid. That was his request. And that's how it was with Reb Dovid. It didn't have to make sense to us. We did it out of love and out of respect for Reb Dovid because it made sense to him. We didn't have to understand it. If we were lucky, understanding it and hearing a reason would come later. And if it didn't make a difference. We just wanted to make Reb Dovid happy because we could feel the amount of love and enthusiasm that was coming from him. And it was real. It was real. In a phony world, it was very, very real. Years later, as a matter of fact, just recently, I started learning in the Yad of Rum program under the direction of Rabbi Yosef Kalatsky, and I was very proud of that. And I was telling Reb Dovid, because I wanted to bring him nachas, and he said, "Oh, Nachum, that's big stuff." And we're learning with Rabbi Kalatsky, and one of the subjects we're learning in Mishnah Berurah, we're learning Hilchos Beis HaKnesses and Hilchos Tefillah, and we came across the passage that was telling us that when they do Hagbah on the Sefer Torah, and they turn around, you should look to see the Osios. Figured fine minig, but the reason the Mishnah Berurah brought was because you're creating a special aura for yourself when you look at the Osios. And we know this world is about creating aura for yourself to have nourishment for you and your family in the world to come. So I was shocked, and I said, "Oh, I just solved a piece of the puzzle," because Alachas Kama V'Kama was going to apply here. Certainly, if just seeing the Osios would create aura for ourselves and our families in Olam Haba, then certainly, because the Kedusha of Lashon Kodesh, keeping our hands on the place, certainly what that would accomplish and help us acquire. And it made sense what Reb Dovid was saying, because if we would keep our hands on the place where we're learning Gemara and Rashi, not only would we learn the cadence, where to stop, where to start, the question, the Shakravataria, but just physically holding on to the Lashon Kodesh, we would absorb it, yes, through osmosis, and that would not only enrich in our lives, but bring us to a higher madrega.